Hello friend, today we are going to discuss about ELP, ROHS and REACH compliances. ELB stand for End of Life Vehicle. Actually, it is a regulation of addressing the recycling of automotive products, and this ELB idea is here to reduce the concentration of hazardous substances in most component of automotive industries. And ELB and ROHS both are targeting the initiative focusing on hazardous material in specific industries like ELB End of the Life Vehicle Directive related to specifically to automobile industries, and ROHS are restrictions of hazardous substances directive that covers a broad array of mostly manufactured goods and electronic components. Now, ELV substances refer to hazardous material found within end of life vehicle like primarily lead, mercury, cadmium and hexavalent chromium. These are the four elements. The ELV directives actually aim to minimize release of these substances into the environment during the vehicle production or their uses or their disposal during their disposal. This is actually achieved by restricted their use, promoting the use of recycled material and ensuring proper vehicle dismantling and recycling. These are the main purpose of ELB. Next is, what are ELB substances? ELB actually contains various components that can pose environmental hazards including hazardous fluid like waste oil, lubricant as well as components like batteries, lamp, electronic devices. The main focus of the four elements mean four substances that are listed by ELB directives, that is lead, mercury, cadmium and hexavalent chromium. These are the four elements. Why are they restricted? Actually, these substances are known to be toxic and can contaminate soil, water and air if not properly managed. And the ELV directive aim to minimize their presence in new vehicle and ensure their safe and responsible management during the end of life stages. And how are they managed? Actually, by prevention, and second is fight dismantling and recycling, and third is by recycling, and fourth is by exemptions, means by allowing the limits, permitted limits. These are the four methods. And examples of ELB substances and their limits is, first is actually lead. Lead is by ELB directives allows maximum concentration of 1000 ppm and R 0.1 percentage. Mercury is also restricted to under 1000 ppm or 0.1 percentage, but cadmium is restricted to under 100 ppm or 0.01 percentage, and hexavalent chromium is also restricted to 1000 ppm. Means three are restricted, Pb, that is lead, mercury and hexavalent chromium restricted to under 1000 ppm, but cadmium need to restricted to under 100 ppm. Now next is ROHS. Actually, ROHS is stand for Restrictions of Hazardous Substances Directive. ROHS, Restrictions of Hazardous Substances. It is actually European Union directive that sets limit on amount of hazardous substances allowed in certain electrical and electronics equipments. These are for especially for electrical and electronic equipment, and ELB is for automobile industries. In ROHS actually there are 10 substances that we need to restrict it. First, 4 substances is related to ELB, and next 6 substances that related to for ROHS. Now total 10 elements we need to restrict in ROHS. That is lead, mercury, cadmium and hexavalent chromium. That lead, mercury means Pb, Hg, Cd and Cr+6. Next 6 element is, and that is polybrominated biphenyl means PBB. Next is polybrominated diphenyl ether, that is PBDE. Next is bis or 2-ethyl hexyl phthalate, that is DEHP, that is diethyl hexyl phthalates. Next is benzyl butyl phthalate, that is BBP. Next is dibutyl phthalate, that is DBP. Next is diisobutyl phthalate, that is DIBP. Means PBB, PBDE, DEHP, BBP, and that is next is DBP and DIBP. These are 6 other elements. Means total 10 elements need to restricted. These substances can cause health and environmental problems. So ROHS aim to limit their usage in electrical and electronics. Next is ROHS aim to protect human health and environment also. So by restricting the use of these hazardous substances, the directive help to reduce the risk of exposure to these toxic to chemical and minimize their negative impacts on environmental and human health. ROHS compliance is important for manufacturing, distributor and importers. Means it is very important for manufacturer, distributors and importers of electrical and electronic components that are sold in European Union. These parties must ensure that their products are comply with ROHS requirement to avoid penalties and ensure that their products are safe for consumers and the environment also. These are the some limits for ROHS. First 4 is related to ELV. We know very well, like cadmium under 100 ppm, lead is under 1000, and mercury is also under 1000 ppm, and hexavalent, that is by 1000 ppm. Next 6 is like polybrominated diphenyl PBB is under 1000, and polybrominated diphenyl ether is, that is PBDE, is also under 1000. Bis 2-ethyl hexyl phthalate, that is DEHP, is also under 1000. Next is benzyl butyl phthalate, that is BBP, is also under 1000. Dibutyl phthalate, that is DBP, is also under 1000, and diisobutyl phthalate, that is also DIBP, also under 1000. Means out of 10 elements in ROHS, only cadmium need to restricted under 100 ppm. Rest of 9 elements we need to restricted under 1000 ppm. These are the limits. Now we note what are their impacts and how they are harms to the environment or humans. We need to also discuss these elements. Like cadmium is used in electronic equipments and car batteries, metal coatings and pigments. Also known human carcinogen that affect multiple organ system. Lead is also used in solder, lead acid batteries, electronic component and cable setting, X-ray soldering, and in glass of cathode ray tubes. This is also human carcinogen that affect the nervous and renal systems. And next is mercury. Mercury is used in batteries, switches and thermostat and fluorescents like lamps, and this is also human carcinogen that affect multiple organ systems. Next is hexavalent chromium, that also used in chrome plating. Hexavalent is used in basically in chrome plating, dyes and pigment, while some form of chromium are non-toxic, like chromium 3. Chromium 6 can produce toxic effect in human bodies, and that affect in multiple organ systems. Next is polybrominated diphenyl, that is PBB, is also known as conjures, and that PBB are flame retardant found in computer monitorings, TV, plastic enclosures. They have been found in indoor dust and air through evaporations. This is also known human carcinogen that affect the endocrine system. Next is polybrominated diphenyl ether, that is PBDEs, that is similar to PBB and added to plastic enclosures to make them difficult to burn. A known human carcinogen that affect the endocrine system. Next is BIS, that is 2-ethyl hexyl phthalate, that is DEHP, that is are used in softened PVC and vinyl insulation on electrical wires and used in medical tubing. Also known human carcinogen that affect the immune and reproductive system. This is very dangerous. Next is benzyl butyl phthalate, that is BBP, that are also used in softened PVC and vinyl insulation on electrical wires. And next is dibutyl phthalate, that is DBP, that is also used in uh, softened PVC and vinyl insulation on electrical wires. Next is diisobutyl phthalate, that is DIBP, that also used in softened PVC and vinyl insulation on electrical wires. Means DIBP, DBP and BBP, and next is DEHP. These are used in softened PVC and vinyl insulation. Only PBB, that's used in TV plastics and computer monitoring etc. And PBDEs, that is same to PBB also, means that are in monitor and TV plastics. That first two elements mean fifth element and sixth element, that is PBB and PBD, that used in TV and computer monitors. And next four element, that is DEHP and BBP and DBP and DIBP, that used in PVC and vinyl insulations. Next is REACH compliances. Who is affected by REACH? Actually, REACH compliances applies to all business that manufacture, import or use chemical in European Union, including chemical producers and importers, formulators and distributors and users, as well as those producing or importing articles that are affected by REACH. Next, why REACH compliance importance? First is for market access, second is risk management, and third is for innovations. Now, what are the methods in REACH compliances? How we can do it? First, by registrations, means chemical producers are required to register safety data for all chemical produced. Second is evaluations, means experts from member states and the European agency evaluated safety data for higher value chemical and other chemical are concerned. Next is by authorization, means chemicals that are substances of very high concern, that is SBSC, are to be phased out and replaced with safer alternative chemicals. Next is restrictions. Chemicals may be completely banned or some uses of the chemical can be restricted. These are the four actually steps. Next is the following is in 2025, that updated list of REACH restricted compounds and substances, not to be confused with the larger SBSC list of 240 plus substances that are not yet restricted. What ROHS restricted substances that are shown in bolded color, like cadmium, chromium 6, lead, mercury. These are substances like phthalates, like polybrominated biphenyls, like polybrominated brominated biphenyl PBB. These are the substances. Thank you very much.